Good morning, everybody, and happy Sunday. So, I'm doing a little bit of DoorDash orders, and just thought I'd hop on here and kind of talk to y'all, have a little bit of Disney talk while we're doing some DoorDash ordering. um, so just kind of update on our moving situation. Um, it looks like this is really working on happening. Um, I'm super excited because the kids are in on it. My wife is in on it. I just, one of my biggest fears is the fear of failing. And when I was single and it was just me, that was one thing. I could fail, get right up, and nobody else was affected. Whew. If this fails, I let my whole family down. And that's tough. That's really tough when you got two little kids who depend on you for everything. You know, the shelter, make sure they got shelter and food and their education. And I mean, ultimately, that's why we're wanting to move, to give them better opportunities. And here in Louisiana, where we live in Lake Charles, Louisiana, we got hit a couple years ago by double hurricanes, like a month apart. And Hurricane Laura, um, really, really put a hurt on this area, and it just hasn't rebuilt. It hasn't grown. Um, our staffing, like the hotel that I work at, it's constant turnover. Um, they lost a lot of money. It's a casino hotel, so it lost a lot of money during COVID, and then it lost a lot of money. From COVID, we were only open. Let's see, May, September. We were only open, you know, only like 4 months before getting shut down again from the hurricanes. And, we just never recuperated. We still don't have room service except for on the weekends. Um, we still don't have full staff of housekeepers. So we're not doing the hotel cleanings every day, like most hotels are getting back to. So it's really tough to make it in this area. Louisiana as a whole is one of the most expensive states because of the hurricanes. And in our parish specifically, our sales tax is 1.25%. In Orlando, like Orange County, well, number one, Florida does not have state income tax. So you win right there. Then number two, sales tax on everything is only 6.2%. 6.2, 6.5, something like that. So we would save a lot of money. You know, we would save a lot of money. Housing is a little expensive, but honestly, not as expensive as Lake Charles, Louisiana. For a 3-bedroom apartment, we pay $1,600. And even for a crappy, um, like for a crappy 2-bedroom house or apartment, you're paying $1,200 for. The income here doesn't match with the housing prices. In Orlando, we wouldn't be living in Orlando like city center. Um, One place we're looking at, of course, the main places that everybody who moves to Disney for: Winter Park, Winter Garden, Maitland, Lockhart. A little iffy on Lockhart. I've seen some crime levels that kind of iffy, but that's why you do research, you know. Um, I'm working on finding a job because unless this whole streaming thing takes off the way that I'm expecting it to before we get to Disney, which I've watched many channels who start before they get to Disney and then they move to Disney because it becomes a viable, income. So unless this thing takes off before we move, I have to have another job. I would stream, after work, before work, whatever my schedule would be. But it can't be my main thing until I see that it can support our family. Um, but I'm just tired of struggling here in Louisiana. Um, me and my wife got married almost 3 years ago, and we got married before I told my family. And when I told my family, the situation, it it was not good. So really, the last 2 years have been pretty rough for our family. Um, the things that happened with my family really affected me. I was very, very, very close to my family, and they didn't agree with our situation. And I've always been a very positive, very, very positively um, outlooked person, um, willing to do anything and everything for anybody. The situation with my family, um, it caused me to spiral into depression and have anxiety. I never thought I would be somebody who would have depression, especially anxiety. I'm learning that I've had anxiety for almost my entire life. Um, I guess I just never knew what to call it. But I'm realizing that the anxiety part is not new, but the depression part is. Um, and me and my wife decided that we can't grow as a family in a place that my family broke me. You just can't grow where you're broke, you know. And I've lived in Florida before. I did the Disney College program back in 2009, and I loved it. And if I had known a lot of what happened after I came back from that program, specifically, like literally right after the program, I would have stayed in Florida. Now, that means I probably would not have the family that I have now, but, um, I almost would have just stayed in Florida. It's a very comfortable living in Florida. It's a very accepting place. It's a very cultural, different place. They accept cultures of every kind, lifestyles of every kind, and I just cannot wait. My wife and my kids, they've never been. The farthest that they've been is Gulf Shores, Alabama. That was another place we were thinking about living, but Gulf Shores especially is very expensive, and hurricanes hit there more often. Um, in Orlando, you're in the middle of the state. You're central, so hurricanes typically by the time that they hit Orlando, they're not too bad. So I'm not too worried about hurricanes. Plus Disney's got it down with hurricanes. When I did the Disney College program, I was on the Hurricane Ride Out program, and or the Hurricane Ride Out team, and basically what it was is if there were any hurricanes coming into the area, we were assigned to a team, and I worked at Pop Century, so I was already at a resort. But any cast member that wanted to be part of this team would be assigned to a resort, and you would be giving lodging, food, whatever you need to help make your stay comfortable. And basically, during this stay, during the storm, you would be there to help out. So you would be working while there, um, but you were in a safe place. Disney is very safe during hurricanes. They may close, but that's not very often. Um, like underneath the Magic Kingdom, there's tunnels, and there's enough room that they can evacuate the entire park to underneath those tunnels. At I don't know if it's at every resort, but at Pop Century, they had like a shelter where if something was going down, you all pile into that shelter. And I think it was like a concreted block shelter, so it's not underground, but it was enough to house everybody that was currently at that resort. So Disney, super safe during a hurricane. If you ever had any question, it's where you want to be. Um, so I even told the family that we're a little iffy about trying to see if we could qualify for first time home buyer, specifically because of hurricanes. Um, Living in an apartment, your complex is responsible for any repairs and any damages. At a home, you're responsible. And I don't know if we quite want to be tied down to a home yet. Um, I think we want to make sure that everybody transitions okay and everything before we do invest in a home. But I really want a house. I'm ready for a place to call our own. But I think I think if we really are going to do this, we need to do it smartly. Um, but Florida living is just so much more simpler. My wife has palsy, cerebral palsy, and here in Louisiana, we live in Lake Charles. Here in Louisiana, the closest doctor for her is in Shreveport. That's 5 hours away. She has to go to specialists. They're usually 2 hours away. She's on Medicaid. Medicaid in Louisiana is not good. It's just not. Healthcare in Florida would be so much better for her and our kids. So I'm excited for this transition. I really think it's what we need. You know, I've been in our kids' life. I've been in there's a situation. So, I've been in my wife's life since COVID started. So, April of 2020, and we got married in June of 21. So, and then there was this situation. So, I've only known our kids since September of 2020, and they've they're 9 and 12. They've had a pretty hard life for their age. And then, I moved them here to Lake Charles. You know, they gave up a lot to be here with me. And I want to give my kids the best life that I can. They have more opportunities in Florida. And if not, we'll pick up and try all over again. Life is about opportunities. Life is about growth. Me, myself, I am a Christian and I believe in a God. I believe this is what me and my family are being called to do. Pick up and leave. Pick up and leave Louisiana. Because I was reading my Bible one night and just it popped out at me. You can't grow where you've been broke. I don't remember what I was reading, but technically it translated into you can't grow where you're broke. Here in Lake Charles, my family is all over here. I have aunts, uncles, cousins. Um, Me and my aunt and a few of my cousins have grown back together, but I don't have enough family here to stay here. I don't have enough family here to hold us here. And I'm not looking for anybody's approval. I I'll talk to my family about it and I'll be like, yeah, we're thinking about doing this, this, and this. But ultimately, people who care is my family, mine and my wife's family. Because at the end of the day, who's looking up to me to make sure that I have all the answers? My kids. So I got to do what I feel is best for our family. And my wife, she doesn't work. Um, her disabilities does not allow her to work. Um, but in Florida, she really wants to start a business from home. She actually wants to get into this YouTube career, and we wanna share the things that we've been through, personally and as a couple. It hasn't been an easy 3 years. It just hasn't. Finally, I'm starting to combat my depression. I was on depression medicine for a good bit, and I just recently was able to wean myself off of it. I have a thing for depression medicine, and it scares me. So I was able to wean myself off of it, and I've become a much happier person. Anxiety, anxiety is still there. That's why I'm still realizing that I have had I've pretty much had anxiety almost my entire life. And I don't know, maybe I'll share some of that later on. Not quite sure if I want to get that detailed into anything, but you know, sorry, I'm trying to do DoorDash, so I'm trying to check my phone. Um, but I'm looking very forward to growing this channel, growing our mini family to a much bigger family. Having our own little crew. You know, that crazy Disney lady calls her people, crazy crew. Um, Ron on the go calls his people the free to do crew. So I don't know what our nickname is gonna be for our group, but we gonna have something. Trust me. We we're gonna we're gonna get it. I'm still new to this, so at 20 minutes I feel like I'm rambling. Hopefully I'm not. Hopefully. Um I just I'm looking very forward to this new transition. You know, I think it's going to be a very good growth opportunity. Um, and I've seen videos of people who have moved to Florida and gone to Florida schools. So, I think my kids are going to grow in the Florida school system. Um, it's got to be better than here. My oldest is autistic, and he's verbal, super smart, um, but just it's very hard for him here. After almost 3 years in Lake Charles schools, he still doesn't have an IEP after asking for years. Um, he recently just got into therapy after trying for 3 years. Um, Nobody knows how to handle his meltdowns. Um, he had a respite care provider, which I don't know. I don't know if that's what they call it anywhere or everywhere. But respite, they take the kids out and take them to the park, take them bowling, something to do on their own, one on one. When he did have it, the provider would take him to the park. My youngest would get a little sad, but because he didn't understand. Um, but you know, he lost that care after, I don't know, like 6 months. Um, Something about credit. I don't know. I still don't get it. But Louisiana just hasn't, like Charles, just has not helped him at all. And I'm really hoping it can do some good for him in Florida. Um, and me being in hotels, if I do decide to, grow that opportunity, there is plenty of opportunities in Florida, for hotels. Um, it's tourism capital of the United States. There's tons of hotels. There's resorts. Blanking. There's resorts. There's convention hotels. There's branded hotels. There's um, boutique hotels, non-branded hotels. Like every opportunity that you can think of. LA Charles, especially since the hurricanes, a lot of hotels got damaged during the hurricanes. Um, I don't know, I might do like a little separate video of just one reason why I want to move to Florida. Cause like, you see the condition of some of these hotels. Like I was an assistant manager at a town place suites here in Lake Charles, and it got badly damaged during the storms, but they were able to reopen fairly quickly. They probably should not have, but it ended up closing down because of structural damage from the storms. So a lot of the hotels here, they're open, but they have structure damage. So eventually they're gonna have to undergo a renovation, and renovations are very costly, especially if you shut down. So I got laid off, and I'm back at the hotel that I started at before that. Um, but Lake Charles living is just tough. You know, we have one of the highest homeless populations. Just because housing here is just so expensive. You know, 3-bedroom here costs us $1,600. A 3-bedroom in some little town, I don't remember, some little community outside of Orlando, a 3-bedroom is 1,400. So yes, it's still expensive, but compared to Lake Charles, um, it's a tiny little bit more affordable. Oh, sorry, I don't mean to yawn. I'm in, I work overnight, so um, it is 10 o'clock in the morning, and I have still not gone to bed. Um, after getting off at 7. So, I want our content here to be about our family, but to be about our family adventures in Disney, our family adventures in Orlando. This may not be strictly Disney, maybe. I'm I'm definitely a Disney kid. I grew up going to Disney my entire life. I've gone to Universal one time, and I was 12, and it was okay. It was alright. I'm not super thrilled about Universal. You know, Disney Universal rival rivalries. Um, but definitely super excited about this opportunity. Um, almost every night I'm looking at jobs. I'm looking at apartments. I'm looking at tips to save money so that way we can move without a problem. So if anybody has any kind of suggestions, comments, concerns, please leave them in the comments below. We're here. We're family. We're Ohana. Stitch. Stitch is my favorite. If anybody had any question about what movie, well, okay, two. My favorite cartoon movie is Stitch. Lilo and Stitch. My favorite live action movie is Pete's Dragon. The original. Nothing beats the original Pete's Dragon. Y'all, I gotta tell y'all, I've watched that movie many, many, many times in my life. When I'm sad, hurt, sick, upset, that movie is it for me. I will sit there and put it on repeat. I end up falling asleep, but it's because the songs, it's the songs in that movie and the way the songs are laid out in that movie that just put me at peace. I can't tell y'all how many times in the last 3 years I've watched that movie. Probably 3 years. I gotta say, I probably watched it 5 times a week. The last 3 years have not been easy, and it's definitely been one of the things to help me get through my hurt times. You know, hurt times are not cool, y'all. No matter who your family is, no matter what your kids come home and tell you, no matter who your kids are with, y'all, please don't come down on them hard. Generation after generation after generation, each one is different. Each one accepts and thinks differently. Don't scold your kids for that. That's ultimately that's what I learned is take everything that happened to me and make sure that that does not happen to my kids. No matter who my kids bring home, no matter what my kids do. Unless it's something, you know, major. Um, like going to prison for life on, on some major disaster charge. Um, but no, I'm I'm looking forward to growing our family. Just let me know what y'all want to be called. Um, one thing I thought about was our Disney dudes, but I don't know how people feel. Like I call everybody a dude, a girl, a boy. You know, to me, a dude is a person. It's just something you say. Hey, my Disney dude. We could call ourselves the I don't even know our Ohana crew, our Ohana fam. I know that's what Ohana means is family. So technically, family. But I want this place to be fun. I'm ready to be fun again. Over the last 3 years, baby, I have said some things. I've said some things to my family that like my wife and my kids, because of everything with my family, baby, I have said some nasty, dirty, rotten things that I never thought would come out of my mouth. It's time to change that. It's time. It's time for our family to grow together. Because of my depression, I really haven't had a chance to grow. That's changing. That changes right now. I gotta tell you, I have not been this motivated in 3 years. When I got depressed, I lost all motivation. Every bit of it. Every bit of my motivation was gone. And I've always been a very motivated person. I ran my family's business, started from the ground up, worked my way from selling Cokes and candy bars, making money that way in Coke machine, having a Coke machine, and worked my way up to running the business. I was the manager for my dad's business. Ran every aspect of the business. So that was probably the very last time I was this motivated. I gotta tell you, secretly, this is what drives me. The motivation to keep going. And I have not had that in a very, very, very long time. So it means a lot to me that my family is trusting me with this decision for our family. I don't like to be the one to make all the decisions, but my wife put this in my hands. And she said, if it doesn't work, we'll find a way to make it work. That's what we all need, is somebody awesome to stand by our sides. Female, male, you don't know what they are. Doesn't matter. What matters is, are they going to be there? My wife has always been there. Haven't always been super accepting of it, but she has been there. Alright, y'all. Well, we're reaching almost 40 minutes on this video, so this is the longest time I've ever done a video. Like, I'm not used to this talking to a screen thing. But anyway, I'm gonna head out and hopefully go home, see my family, love on them a little bit. I'm going to bed because I gotta work tonight. But Monday and Tuesday are my days off. I'm really hoping to get into a little bit more, videos and it was supposed to be super cold here in Lake Charles. We are expecting some snow, some winter weather, which we always get in January. We always get one snow in January. Secretly, I'm gonna kind of miss that when we get to Florida. But you got Snoop on Main Street during Christmas, and you better believe we gonna be there, because I want my kids to be able to soak up every bit of that. See that magic. See that magic work. They don't have to know it's soap made to be like Snoop. That's the magic of it. I know that it's Snoop, but my kids don't have to know. I'm not even planning on telling my kids about the Snoop and about the snow on Main Street. I fully intend on bringing my kids to the event and just watch their eyes light up. Maybe I'll tell them after. Who knows? Alright, y'all. Well, peace, love, Disney. That's where we headed. Love y'all.